of former President Trump's arraignment at D.C.'s federal courthouse. And here are three things you need to know right off the bat. First, the hearing is set for 4 o'clock tomorrow. We're waiting to hear whether the former president will appear in person or virtually. And last, the security preparations are underway regardless. So for more on all of this, we're going to go live to Evan Kosloff in D.C. Evan, what do we know?
Well, we just heard from D.C. police a few hours ago. They tell us that they are working closely with federal law enforcement and they're monitoring the situation just in case there are any protests. What I can tell you is where I am right now with less than 24 hours until the hearing. We're not seeing any protests here at the courthouse, just the occasional tourists taking photos of the spectacle that is all of these live trucks lined up along Constitution Avenue. I did reach out to an FBI source of mine. He was an FBI agent in D.C. for some 23 years, just to get a sense of what the conversation is among law enforcement behind the scenes.
January 6th is a thing that took place that kind of rocked that community.
Thomas O'Connor spent 23 years as an FBI agent in D.C., focusing on counterterrorism. He says that January 6th was a wake-up call for just how dangerous political extremism can be.
Because of January 6th, nothing is off the table. So those intelligence community, the law enforcement community, they are preparing, they are doing research, they are scouring the internet and the dark web for any potential chatter on potential violence.
All this as former President Donald Trump is expected to appear in person at the federal courthouse, where he's facing 4 charges. A federal grand jury accusing the former president of conspiring to overturn the 2020 election.
The attack on our nation's capital on January 6th, 2021 was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy.
Special counsel Jack Smith laying out the case against former President Donald Trump yesterday, alleging that Trump spread lies even though he knew his claims were false. But Trump has taken to Truth Social to deny any wrongdoing, calling this case election interference. Mike Pence, his former vice president turned 2024 competitor, weighed in on the indictment just hours ago.
Anyone who puts themselves over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. And anyone who asks someone else to put themselves over the Constitution should never be president of the United States again.
And back out here live now, you're taking a look here at the federal courthouse. You can see a little bit of the circus that we have out here as we have people from all around the country. The arraignment is set for 4 o'clock tomorrow. Here's the thing. He actually has the option to not be here. He could do this virtually. That being said, sources tell CBS News he is expected to be here inside of this courtroom. Either way, law enforcement telling us that they want to be ready in case there are any protests. For now, reporting here outside of the federal courthouse is Evan Kosloff, WUSA 9. Leslie?
And apparently if he is there in person, there's no guarantee that we'll actually see all of that happening as it's happening. So be sure to stick with us as more news breaks surrounding the indictment of former President Trump. For updates anytime, download the WUSA 9 app on your phone.